Alright, what's going on, everyone? We are doing something a little special today. So to give a little bit of context, I was scrolling through Twitch and I saw a streamer slash YouTuber that I do watch from time to time, Sphere Hunter. She covers a lot of like old Capcom games and things like that. Very, very huge like YouTuber, so you probably know who I'm talking about. And she was actually streaming this mod, which is the mod I'm going to be showcasing today, is the RE2R Classic Fixed Camera Mod. Now, as the name suggests, it is a mod that gives you the classic Resident Evil camera angles in the Resident Evil 2 remake. I thought it looked pretty cool, and I wanted to kind of dive into it myself and give it a try and, sort of make a video on it. I am going to be starting a new game as Leon, and I do have like one or two other mods installed. One is just to give him the hunk costume, and then unlimited ammo, just to not have to worry about ammunition while just showcasing the mod itself, but to kind of like talk about it on a mechanical level and just kind of showcase what you can do with it. So, I did kind of like boot up the game, make sure that it worked. I'm right outside of the gas station here, so nothing really substantial. Again, playing on the system mode just because I figured it'd be like the easiest to kind of like showcase the mod, which, as you can see here, it's already in effect. Now, it's a little awkward at first using a controller, and the way that it works is you have to have the RE framework installed, and I believe it is the let me see, if it's the insert key, you'll get some options here. The RE framework, which you don't have to worry about, and then on the top right-hand side, you'll have the RE Classic window, which you can like increase the size and stuff like that if need be. So, in terms of controls, there are a couple of presets here. The original preset, which is the unedited third-person perspective controls. You use the left stick to move around, right stick to move the camera, which is a little jarring, obviously, as it's not really meant to do that. Let's see, control base 2 is camera based, so basically that means like based on the way that the camera's facing, sort of. It kind of feels like control 1 a little bit, not my favorite. And we'll actually get into like the police station and kind of like showcase like everything else that's kind of going on. But you can see like the camera does like change directions, and based on like where the camera's facing, that's where the character's going to be running. So that can definitely be a little jarring. Just a little bit. Option 3 is going to be a camera-based run start. So basically where the camera's facing is where the character's going to start running. So if we turn around and we're going to change the camera angles here, the character's going to keep walking in that direction. Kind of what you expect from like other titles, seen as like kind of like what you expect from like the actual like classic tank control camera, is if I continue to press like forward on the stick, my character's going to continue to move forward. But if I choose a direction, the character's going to move that way. Let's see. Camera option 4 is basically the same thing as run and walk. So if you're running in one direction and walking in another direction, the character's going to continue to walk that way, like where the camera is. Sort of the same as option 3, not my favorite. So tank controls. Tank controls is probably one of the ones I would use. This is pretty much the character moves with the right or with the left stick. You can still move the character like rotating wise with the right stick, but however, if I'm moving towards a certain angle here, this feels a little bit more natural with like the tank controls. Like, okay, I want to move the other direction. Let me turn around. And then I can move in the direction like where the camera's facing. So like, okay, I want to turn back around. Finally, option 6 is option 6 and 7. Tank controls with camera based. Same as I mentioned before, you still have like the left stick is like the majority control, but still running in the same direction that you're running towards. So still could be a little awkward, but I feel like this would be a little bit more comfortable just because like you're still moving the character with just like the one stick. And then the final option, in my personal favorite, is true tank controls. Now, true tank controls is basically, okay, if I'm moving in direction, I can move that character in that direction still. That's what I feel a little bit more comfortable with. It still feels awkward at first, but I think if you was to play the entire game with it like this, like kind of give it like about like an hour or so, it feels a little bit more comfortable. I would say probably option 5 and 7. It does have the auto aim feature to where like, depending on which one you pick, very easy, normal, and hard, that kind of like aims towards the zombies. We'll showcase that a little bit further on, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get to the police station. I'll showcase a little bit inside of the gas station just because there is some camera angles that do change here. And the cutscenes do alternate with
Hello?
you know, the obvious like you know, cutscene and like you know what I'm trying to say. Like the cutscenes will play out regularly, but like the game still will go back to take controls like when going back into the option.
Don't move. I'll be back for you.
So, but yeah, you can see here it works at the very beginning. I think it's like the entire game. You have like the full tank controls. So we're just gonna skip the cutscenes here, and then here's like the auto aim.
What the?
Like you can still aim manually, but like it will lock onto the zombie. Cause you still have the option to like aim up and down, sort of like how like Resident Evil, the Resident Evil 4 or I guess 3.5 beta was, to where you can you point towards the direction, but I think it switches over to first person. You still quick turn.
No way. This can't be.
As you can see, that he still auto aims. And again, I'm not really worried about bullets here because I got unlimited bullets, but go ahead and try and get out of here. Turn, please. Like I said, it can be a little jarring at first trying to like go through this.
Don't shoot.
And again, I'm just like skipping through the cutscenes here. It also takes you. This also works like outside the police station.
This is out of control.
Oh god, oh god. So like I said, it can be a little jarring a little bit. Let me go ahead and switch to true tank controls. That might be a little bit easier. Oh god. Okay. I don't remember which way to go with the tank controls. Alright. There we go. There we go. But it does take a little bit to get used to, but I think it's pretty cool.
It's everybody. They've all turned.
Oop, that one's blocked off. But to kind of go over some of the aiming while we're here, since there's maybe like 1 or 2 enemies, to kind of go over the aiming. As you can see, there's a couple of aiming options. Very easy, you know, it locks onto the enemy. Hard, we'll kind of like take a look at the hard mode. Auto aim here, since we got unlimited bullets. I think we have an enemy coming up here. So like the hard doesn't really like lock onto them until like they're very close. But it's still not very accurate. Like you see earlier when I had auto aim on, it pretty much locked onto them. But it's gonna miss the shots more often. Whereas if I switch over to something like easy mode, or very easy, you get much more of a better lock on. And you can still aim like manually while doing the lock on. Like you can still aim towards the head if you want. Or another aiming that you can do, and I'll showcase this here, is under under auto aim, or I'm sorry, the camera angles, you can do fixed camera angles, follow the camera, things like that. If you want, we'll showcase that a little bit. Auto aim, laser sight options, you can remove the laser sight if you want. And then advanced, I think it's let me see. I want to say, let's see. You can basically disable the aim while aiming down sight. I believe it is. Okay, here we go. Disable mod during aiming. So with that that enabled, what that allows you to do, it switches back over to shoulder aim. And we'll showcase this a little bit more inside the police station, but like, say you want to play like with the tank controls, but you don't like how it aims. Well, now you can use the tank controls, and then for combat, you can still aim down the sight if you want.
Son of a bitch.
Which some people may like, some people might not like. I think it's a pretty cool combination of both. But yeah, there's plenty of options to play with here. To play with like the camera angles and things like that. I think a good combination, and I recommend pausing every time you go into this just because the game doesn't pause. Camera options we can kind of take a look at too. Some of the the camera presets, fixed cams, follow the player loosely. So let's do follow the player. So as you see here, like now the fixed camera angle follows the player instead of just staying in one stationary spot. I believe this happens in the Resident Evil 1 remaster, as well as I think like Code Zero and Code Veronica. Oh, I'm sorry, Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica. I think they had this type of camera controls to where it will move with the player but still have tank controls, which feels a little bit more natural as the camera's moving with the character, so it's a little bit easier to turn. Another option that we have is follow the player loosely, which is sort of the same, but the camera's not as tight. As you can see, like the camera's not as tight as it was earlier. You still have that that loose space running, but I feel like the first option is a little bit better. And then semi fixed cams. And if you highlight over it, you get like a little explanation. The camera will follow only when you're more than 25% away from the center of the fixed camera frame. As you can see now, the camera only moves once you get like a certain like range from it. And this is probably going to be a little bit easier to showcase like in a bigger area. So let's go inside the police station.
Hello?
So as you can see here, the camera starts to move. The camera starts to move only like when you're like a certain percentage away, not like following the character all the way around. And so kind of like going over another camera angle. Fixed camera that follows the screen edge. The camera will only follow you when you're almost past the edge of this fixed camera frame. Not really too much of a difference with this one, as you can kind of like see that slightly, like as you get close to like the camera frame at the edge, it sort of moved. However, it didn't really see too much of that. Let's see if I can kind of show it again. There we go. See, that slight instance there to where like the camera moved towards the edge of the frame. Like that slight movement there. Personally, I think I would probably go with the follow the player camera, just because it seems a little bit more natural. And you can customize these to your liking, walk type, run type, stuff like that. The camera delay, the turn speed, things like that. There's a lot of options here that you can change, even like the controls for like the strafe and things like that. So a lot of options here, and I think it's a pretty cool mod overall. It will be interesting to do like an entire playthrough with this, just because I know it would be very, very it'd be very interesting to do a playthrough of this. I may consider doing one, possibly. I did originally play through Resident Evil 2, the remake, a while ago. I think I've still had the playlist on my channel, at least through Leon's campaign. I didn't do Claire's, but I did plus like my original run on PlayStation 4. But if you're interested in seeing like a possible playthrough, maybe like a stream of me playing through this, with the fixed camera angle from like start to finish, definitely let me know. You know, like the video, comments, all that fun YouTube jargon. But I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool mod. And maybe like if you guys want to see like maybe like a second showcase of like a little bit more in the police station with more enemies and stuff like that. Let me know what you think. I would definitely would not be opposed to doing so. But I did just want to kind of quickly showcase it on like a technical level to kind of see like the possibilities of what you can do. I wouldn't mind going to like do some of the first areas of the game to kind of showcase what it looks like. Cause I think it's cool. I think the mod itself is pretty cool, and I think it has like a lot of potential for like a fun playthrough, especially on like harder difficulty levels to where like you got to fight like the tank controls, the way that the game plays in terms of aiming and stuff like that. I think it's really cool. I think it'd be pretty interesting. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I know it's been a while since I've done like any type of mod videos, and I figured let me try something different from like one of my favorite games of years past. I think Resident Evil 2 Remake is really fun. The third one we don't talk about as much, but still, that's a story for another day. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.